Day 18, I didn't vlog yesterday. I barely even edited, but I did build like 15 Notion templates, like my life depended on it. So today I wanted to talk about that trap that many of us can fall into, which is, organizing our creativity so much that we forget to actually be creative. There can be something addictive about feeling productive without actually producing anything. It's like you can convince yourself you'll spreadsheet yourself to fulfillment or something like that. And I can fall into that trap quite often. Now, don't get me wrong. Good Lord, these bugs are out here today. We had a massive storm yesterday. I can fall into that same trap where, I'm trying to get, I have so many, plates spinning in the air at the same time between, trying to do more creative work, not only with the vlogging, but also trying to learn DaVinci Resolve editing, also, trying to, study for poker and everything that I do. I've got school's going to be starting up next month, right after my birthday, so I'm going to be juggling that as well, on top of, the usual responsibilities I have to do. I've got to, clean the house, do the laundry, and do those kind of things. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that falls into this. I mean, many of you out there, families to juggle, relationships to juggle, those kind of things. I don't have a family. I don't have kids. I've never had a desire for kids for myself. For me, kids are a lot like boats. It's better to have a friend that has one. I love my friends' kids, but I love giving them back at the end of the day. But, if you're trying to, get into the creative realm and you're juggling all these different things, trying to keep your head on straight with all the different plates in there, it's difficult to do. I have really been obsessive about building all these systems over the last month on trying to get it all organized. I've really been building it over the last 6 months, but the last month I've really dived deep into it. And my issue I had before was I had so many different organizational systems that are in different locations. And that makes it really difficult. You're bouncing around from app to app to app. And I really wanted to streamline it so everything is in one place. And there is no, one thing that does all that straight out of the box. So I started diving a bit more into, and that was with the help of ChatGPT, because it can help me kind of import some of my things, but I needed to build the Notion templates first. Now, Notion, if you don't already know, it's a database and organizational system, and you can build it to do whatever you want. It's free. You can actually build the setup for free. A lot of office environments use it. And if you want to get into more advanced features and automations and things like that, then you do have to have a paid version of it. But for the most part, your basic organization you can do inside of Notion for free. So I have built all these different systems, whether, I've got like my 30-day vlogging challenge has its own board inside of there, and that's all tied together with all my creative stuff. I have my to-do list, I have my goal list, I have my quarterly goals, I have my yearly SMART goals. If you don't know what SMART goals are, you should look those up. There's plenty of guys out there that talk about productivity that are going to be much better at explaining it than I am. I have monthly goals, I have weekly goals, and it makes it seem like it's a lot, but when you actually streamline the process, it's very easy to just take a look at things at a glance. And it's allowed me to kind of integrate everything all into one. And especially, with school coming up, that's going to be another thing that I have to juggle with this. Plus, with all the creative stuff I want to do, there's so many projects I want to do, and being able to organize all those thoughts and putting together all the scripts and the script scaffolds and the thumbnail ideas and the subject ideas and all those kind of things. It becomes very difficult to manage. And I can get a little obsessive with it at some point. Now, I'm not saying the systems are bad. They've definitely helped me, but they can be a bit of a distraction, and they can be a bit of a safety blanket at times. Sometimes I look up and I realize I've been color coding things for 3 hours. I could stay up for 2 hours trying to find the right icons to put in there. And, that's me. I have a way of wanting things to look a certain way. And, not everybody has that OCD in them. It's not really OCD, because there are some people that legitimately have OCD, and I don't want to make fun of that fact. But, there are certain things that I like to, have a certain way. Just like my office and things that I'm doing there, for me, environment is a big deal. How the space that you work in, the space that you sleep in, these things all matter. So if I'm going to spend a lot of time in my organizational things, I want to make sure that it kind of looks and feels a certain way. So it makes it kind of a joy to use when I go through these things on a day-to-day basis. Now, I'm sure I'll tweak these as things go on, as I'm starting to use all these systems and learning how to integrate them together. But it has become a bit of a distraction, so much so that I have gone into work later than I meant to, because I'm still thinking about this stuff. And even when I'm there, I'm still kind of, messing with different shortcuts and Apple Notes, things that'll import my calendars and do all this stuff. And it's keeping me distracted, and I'm not paying attention as much. So I just decided that, not to vlog yesterday, because I needed to get this done. I needed to get this done and off my plate so I can stop obsessing about it. That leads me down to one of the reasons why it's very difficult to create. There's no perfect plan that doesn't make this feel vulnerable. Nobody is judging my Notion boards out there, but they are going to judge my voice or the way I talk to the camera, or my editing or anything like that, or my storylines, or whether it's interesting. Those are the things that they're actually going to judge, and you've just got to kind of get past that at a certain point. So I have sat there and thought, well, how much of this is I want to get this organized, and how much of this is I'm avoiding doing things because maybe I'm not progressing in the ways that I want to. And I'm not saying that that is the case. I'm saying that is a very easy way to get inside of your head and to start thinking those things. So again, another reason why I like this vlogging challenge is it's kind of forcing me to do this, to kind of commit to myself. I mean, nobody's forcing me. I could stop doing this at any point and nobody would really notice, but I would notice. So it's kind of forcing me to get out here and actually record, whether I have anything majorly planned. I do have some ideas every now and then for some of the, the vlogs where I have subject ideas where I'm riffing on that. And I had a basic idea of what I wanted to talk about yesterday, and I kind of tweaked that a little bit, which was just kind of interesting, because I said, I wanted to kind of get a little serious about how difficult this can be sometimes. Because showing up, even imperfectly, is more honest than me hiding behind any kind of system. So, is this going to be beneficial for me? 100%. I'm actually really excited about all the design work that I did on this. I can be a bit of a geek when it comes to those kind of things. So I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I got it done. And I'm sure there's going to be some small tweaks here and there as I figure out how to make these systems work together. But for the most part, this is done. This is behind me. And it's now something I can start putting into action and actually getting out here and starting to record. So it's okay. It's allowed to be scary. It's allowed to be, you're allowed to be scared. This can be difficult to do at times. This can be difficult to, get honest on a camera. I'm not trying to go viral and get millions and millions of viewers or anything like that. The whole point of doing this challenge was just so I can get used to the creative process, get better at talking to the camera itself, meet a couple of people like you guys that have actually reached out to me and messaged me, and I've seen that some of you guys are on a very similar path, and I've seen a bunch of creators. It's just interesting. In the last week alone, a bunch of different people either put out videos or they posted something about, it's a bit insane to try to compare yourself after, 5, 10, 15, 20 videos to somebody that just put out their 300th or 400th video that's been doing it for years. Don't do that. Don't worry about that process. You're gonna get there. Go back and look at their first videos. They're terrible. They know they're terrible. They've told you they're terrible. And the really, really good creators, the real honest ones, are the ones that leave those videos up there. They let you go ahead and see how bad those were in the past. They're not worried about what it might do to their algorithm or anything like that. So they were scared at some point too. It was difficult for them to get on camera. This wasn't a natural thing to come out here and just start talking to the camera. One of the guys that I listened to, he's a professional voice actor. He has been doing this forever, where he's got to, talk to, just a camera when there's no actors that are actually in the room. So, it said he's got years and years of experience at this, but he didn't just jump in and start doing it right away, and he knew what he was doing. That's a very, very normal thing. So Was I doing all this stuff to get myself organized and make my process just so much better for myself going forward with everything I'm managing in my life? 95%. I want to say 100%. Is it going to help me? 100%. Is it why I needed to do that yesterday? I'd say that is about 95%. But 5% of it is, man, I am just not feeling creative today. I am not feeling like I've got much to share with everyone. And sometimes you just kind of got to give yourself a little bit of a break. Every now and then you've got to take a little time on this. So, you know, I'm looking forward to doing more with this, but yesterday was a well-needed break, even if it was obsessively spent in front of a computer for the last 2 days, nonstop. It's been more than that before this, but it's been pretty much nonstop the last 2 days on getting all these systems set up. And, you know, maybe I'll go ahead and share that with you guys sometimes when I'm a little bit better on doing screen recording and that kind of thing. So I'll go ahead and maybe share some of the systems that are working for me. But I'm glad I keep showing up here. It's a promise I made to myself, and it's a promise that I'm going to stick with. And I appreciate the, you know, support I've gotten from a few people on here. I would still be doing it without you, but you know, when you get some feedback from somebody in a similar situation, or you get a feedback from somebody in Australia, I've got somebody in Australia there. It's kind of like, oh wow, I can see, you know, that this could eventually reach a lot of people, and maybe, you know, and I have things I can share with people to help them in their lives, not just beyond the creative world, but, you know, I'm somebody that's gone through some fairly immense trauma in my life, and I've grown as a human being, and that is eventually one of the things I would like to dive into and share with people is, you know, ways to kind of reinvent your life. If you've ever got lost in the planning and not the doing, man, I get it. I am it. You're not alone. But we can climb out one messy step at a time. Day 18 is done. Still a mess, but I'm still here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for number 19. Thanks, guys.